Deviate Mantra is a head-turner for a couple different reasons, featuring eye-catching optics and eye-popping down-lane punch and continuation. Jessy gets airborne both with the ball and nearly himself, trying to yeet what is, in my opinion, the most dynamic ball Deviate has ever produced. To start with the details, the center is Royal Crest Lanes in Lawrence, Kansas. Big thanks once again to Jessy, who is one of the owners and gets all this stuff set up and taken care of for us. And the lane condition is the Kegel Chromium Challenge pattern that comes in at 42 feet, 25.5 mils. The graph is linked in the description. The Mantra is interesting on paper. It's a mild asim. Rubicon UC2 is a very near comparison both on paper and on the lane. The hybrid version of the HK22 Insider Extreme formula from the Troublemaker Pearl is a stronger cover than the UC2 though, and it comes polished, which is where Jessy left it. Core is basically a 250RG 047 differential and an 011 int diff, so strong core with a medium amount of torque from the medium asymmetry. You wouldn't be able to tell that from the ball reaction though. This thing is an animal. Jessy could do anything he wanted to with the Mantra except throw it slow. Despite being shiny, it gets a lot of actual traction, and yes, that's helped significantly by his rev rate. I'm sure it would have looked a little different for Angel, but Jessy had a much easier time with the hitter Pearl as far as getting it down the lane was concerned, and he's been throwing the hitter Pearl a lot in League, by the way. It's fit for him really well. This one seems to be a little more teeth and a more dynamic reaction overall, even though the numbers on paper don't really seem to suggest that. The idea here seemed to be to end up in Rubicon UC2 territory, cleaner and more responsive cover with a little asymmetry to kind of put it between the stronger shiny symmetric balls and I guess you'd say the standard or full strength asims. This one is definitely flippy and therefore I can't really say it's stable or controllable, however it very consistently hooked and responded. Consistent and controllable are different terms even though people sometimes use them the same way. Controllable means it doesn't do anything in a hurry. It's smooth and blendy and not jumpy or super responsive. Consistent means that it does the same thing every time, and the Mantra consistently hooked and or consistently boomed every shot. I'm not sure how valuable this ball would be on tougher conditions. You definitely need some transition, and I think where you'd want it would be when you have to get super deep and into gutter lofting territory. That's not going to be a thing for the vast majority of people watching this, but if you're a bowler that lacks power, this one should have your attention because it's in the territory where it'll give you as dynamic of a ball reaction as you're going to get. If you can't get this ball to hook or finish, you're either on a flood or need to spend your next couple $100 on lessons instead of a bowling ball. Short interruption to remind you to check the description. Lots of good and helpful things down there, including a link to Mart to get one of these ordered. Links to instructional videos, plus I have a new shirt and hoodie design up on CoolWick. Suck it up, Buttercup. Be a great gag gift for some friends that I know that all of you have that could use one of those. And code ROSEDOLL10 will get you 10% off your order at checkout. Links to the shirt and hoodie are also in the description. Ultimately, I think this one is still a very high 2-ball. Response really fakes people out, and I don't think this ball is archetype hybrid strong. I don't think it's one reverb strong. I'm not even sure it's violent collision strong, but it's definitely very responsive, very fast, and it's definitely a ball down from the big stuff at least. A half a step down from the big shiny stuff, but still up from something like the Beyond Infinity, Troublemaker Pearl, Hitter Pearl, etc. Sanded, I think it would still be a very high 2-ball, maybe a 1-ball for super high rev rates like Jessy. This ball at 2000 versus the Pure Envy at 2000, I think still sees the Pure being the bigger ball. We're going to compare it to the Hitter Pearl since I've mentioned it a few times. The Hitter Pearl is every bit as fast, but it's cleaner. It's a cleaner and rounder shape. Where the Mantra sees friction and goes instantly, the Hitter Pearl very visibly goes an extra couple feet before it starts changing direction. This is why you have to pay close attention to everything. You could look at both of these balls and go, okay, sure, they're both long and flippy, but when you're really watching everything the balls are doing all the way down the lane, the HP is clearly a couple feet longer than the Mantra and a fairly different shape. Now, are they different enough to matter to the average bowler? Yes and no. Different enough, sure. Different enough to matter or make a substantial difference? Probably not. I think if you can recognize and apply the correct shapes to your game, the difference between these balls could represent 10 to 15 pins in average, because honestly, that's just an extra hit a game. I definitely didn't average 230 plus righty because I threw it good. The Mantra releases with Columbia's Buttery Super CUDA, Ebonite's Chonky Crusher and Sleek 1 Reverb, and Hammer's Sexy Pure Envy on September 19th. I'll have reviews for all these balls up at some point. Remember again to check the description for all the goodies and stick around for the outtakes. They're always tons of fun. This video was brought to you by Panda Bear Productions. We put the in bowling. Thanks for watching and may the strikes be with you.
So like getting left may be something that I need to do. Okay. This is like getting through the, obviously getting through the fronts more than that, but it's going sideways. Oh my God. Yes.
Great shot, Jessy.
That hasn't happened in like probably 2 months. That used to be that used to be my miss. That was better.
The shape looks really
Golly.